Okay, so I'm going to introduce a a possible idea, perception, view, or theory. Okay, why do we not lose muscle mass nearly as soon, quickly, or at all, it may seem, when we are in a deficit, a so-called deficit when it comes to, food and protein especially. So after you tear down the muscle, which is a catabolic process, you're tearing down, um, which also ignites metabolism and whatnot. You have to have your hormones work correctly to actually promote and bring blood flow to where the damage is done. If you can't if you can't bring the blood flow there, you are not going to build because you need you need the blood. You need the blood and you need it to work correctly and bring the inflammation, the water weight. This is where muscle mass comes from, water weight. But if your hormones is not working correctly and you're not anabolically bringing water, blood, inflammation within the blood, you're just not going to have any substance to work from. But it comes from actually initiating and promoting and allowing the hormone balance to occur. So anabolically, anabolic hormones build, catabolic catabolic hormones break down and destroy. It's just a cycle that we go throughout the day called the circadian rhythm. We break down the muscle catabolically, we build it back up anabolically. So after that, after you break down the muscle and you bring the attention and the energy, more so inflammation and water from the blood, you have to fill in the gaps. You need to fill in the tears. That's where the inflammation comes in. And our muscles and our body as a whole is it's mostly water. So that's where the term water weight comes from, especially if you're swole. Think about this. The term swelling. If you're swole, you're just retaining a lot of water for the most part. For the most part. Now, when it comes to retaining water and getting that puffy, big, muscular figure muscle mass and look, that is from sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is a more superficial layer of tearing the muscle and muscle building. And that's more associated with the the notion of the if you're familiar, the 6 to 12 rep range around there. 6 to 12, about 5 to 15 at most. Usually. It really depends. But that's what's usually, at least right now, mainstream um recognizes as the rep range. But anyways, from that, myofibular hyper um myofibular hypertrophy. That's when you really tap into that strength building, that strength creating itself, that strength um revealing itself. So it's not only about the muscle, by the way. It's about the whole body. The more muscles you contract, the more tendons you're gonna pull, which is gonna pull on the bones. The bones is connected to each other directly from the ligaments, and the fascia in the nervous system encompasses the whole body and relates the messages as a whole. That's why it's so important to train your body as a whole, holistically. Okay, so myofibrillar hypertrophy is when you're more intensely and you're basically contracting, stretching, and tearing your muscle at a deeper, denser level. When this happens, what this is usually ignited from very intense strength based actions and practice. Deadlift. Well, when you're talking about weightlifting, deadlift for one, going really high in weight. Squat for another, going really high in weight. The deadlift working some of the most densest muscles in your body, including your whole core and glutes, your hips overall, down to the legs, to the back, your lats, and all the stabilizing muscles. If you're using free weight, all the stabilizing muscles within your body. It works about every muscle in your body. But not only does it work the muscle, it has to work the tendon. The tendon pulls onto, okay, excuse me. The muscle pulls onto the tendon, which then moves the bone. And our joints is connected from bone to bone via ligaments. So imagine this. You get a response, a thought, just a thought from your brain travels down your nervous system. The fascia encompasses all your muscles, all your organs, all your tissue, superficial, deep, and all layers of fascia. Your nerves are covered. Everything is covered by fascia. That's a part of your nervous system. But the nerves, they basically ignite the muscle to contract. The muscle contracts. It uses the tendon, which is basically can be thought as a band. You could think of it as a resistance band. The muscle contracts. It gets smaller. It becomes more. It basically, in a way, it's contracting. Basically, it's contracting. It's getting smaller. It's getting closer. The tendon is so strong, is so dense that it allows the muscle to contract, but it brings the bone. It makes movement with the bone. It allows movement with the bone. The muscle contracts. The tendon can be thought of as the rope or resistance band that allows the transmutation, the translation of the energy to go through. So when it comes to density, muscle is probably one of the more least dense tissues in the body when it comes to actual movement. It initiate muscle initiates the movement, but it's not the end all be all. It still is a whole holistic view. It still requires a holistic view to really contract, to really make movement overall. So the muscle contracts, it gets smaller. Well, it contracts closer. The energy is relayed through the tendon, which also brings explosive power. The tendon is much denser than the muscle, even though, considering it is also mostly water. It's very fluid. That's why it's very important to hydrate. But the muscle pulls on the tendon. The tendon pulls on the bone, which is very dense as well. The bones are connected to each other in joints via ligaments, and stability comes from not only the muscle but your bones, your tendons, and just about every function in the body. And remember that we have more than superficial skeletal muscles. We have deep underlying muscles when it comes to our organs. Organs require what is referred to as smooth muscle to contract and do all the functions that it needs to do. There's movement within you. There's movement within your gut, within your intestines, within your vital organs, and even your brain. So, food for thought.